Hello there. This hour on Verbling, the next in my Getting Results in Business series, we're going to be beginning today a new unit. This time, we're talking about job performance. All aspects of job performance, personal job performance in a team, company job performance, everything we can think of. We're going to learn key vocabulary, key expressions, and revise our grammar to enable this when we begin the unit. Well, we'll talk about this in just a second. First, let me do a little introduction about myself. I'm Jon-Eric, your Verbling teacher for this hour, and I'm an American teacher from New York, hanging out from Lisbon, Portugal, to bring you this class. Here are 3 quick rules to help you participate. Don't forget to turn off, tune in, and open up, which means when you're not speaking, turn off your microphone. When you are speaking, tune in to the new words. Use them actively so I can correct you. And also, open up to your classmates. Relax and have fun. We're all here to learn, and this is a safe and respectful place to practice your English. So we're going to get started in just a second. Let's say a quick hello to Yosuke. Hello, welcome back, Yosuke. How are you?
I'm doing well, relaxing here. How about you?
I'm relaxing here. Yeah, I'm relaxing. We're both relaxing.
Yeah.
Where is here? I can't remember where here is. You're in Shandong with the pandas, right? Am I right?
Yeah, you're talking about the country?
Yeah, aren't you living with the pandas?
Oh, I don't know where.
Where do you live?
Japan.
Oh, for some reason I thought you said you were in China for some reason. Oh,
China.
No.
Maybe not possible.
I was mistaken. Where are you in Japan, Yosuke?
The nearby Osaka, nearby.
Near Osaka. Osaka. What should I know about Osaka? Tell me about Osaka.
How can I say? Many building and many people also cramped into the a train.
Really?
Yeah,
it's crowded?
Yeah, kind of famous some train crack try to push into the coach in the train on the train. It's a kind of famous because the rush for the morning
rush hour.
Yeah. Many people many train crack try to tackle into the coach, and then because people have to go to the workplace on the time.
Right.
Yeah, so you're very famous scene.
So if I go to Osaka, I'm going to be packed like a sardine.
Yeah. Morning time and evening time crazy.
Sounds like New York. It's exactly what happened when I went to work in New York.
Also, I have an image of New York. Yeah, kind of little dangerous, I guess.
Not dangerous. It's not true.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a lot of people, especially on the metro in the morning, on the subway when you get up, 8 o'clock in the morning. You have to read the paper like this. You take your paper, you have to put your arms around someone else, and then read the paper over their shoulder. That was before we had tablets, but that's how you would read the paper in New York.
Okay, it's I have to focus on one thing.
Exactly. In fact, you had to learn origami because you had to learn how to fold the paper because you can't open it up because it was too big. So you had to learn origami to fold the paper and read it the right way.
And some of older generation guy also doing folding down compact and then try to read newspaper.
We learned that from Japan. We steal everything.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
really?
We stole that. I think that Yuki was the one who invented that method. Am I right, Yuki?
Yep.
The origami newspaper reading. That was you, wasn't it?
When I worked in Tokyo before, every morning I fold the newspaper in the train and I read it with murderous crowd.
All you needed to do was you needed to patent your idea, and you could be collecting royalties because I think that you were the first to do it.
No, I think I'm not the first person that do it.
No?
No. But I think recently such a crowd has been
Not such a.
not such a
No, not that. No, what
such
did we?
awful.
Wait. How did we correct such? Remember?
That kind of
Yeah.
murderous crowd has been
What?
has been better.
Has been so. It's not so crowded anymore.
It's not so crowded now. Because the population of Japan gradually decreasing. So when I was child, it was a really awful crowd. But now I think even in Tokyo, even rush hour, it's not so awful situation now.
So one of the good things about a declining population is that there's more space on the train.
Yes.
That's the moral of the story. Good.
There is more space in train than before.
So it's not all bad. That's the important thing. Well, now that we know a bit about Japan, we have to know a little bit about Saudi Arabia. Hello, Ahmed. How are you?
Hello.
Ahmed.
Yes.
Is there a metro where you live?
No, we don't have metro.
Why is that? It's too difficult to bury the train under the sand, or not necessarily?
I really don't know.
Just curious.
Okay, people tend to use cars and
right.
And buses. More.
Cars and buses. Because I think it would be a lot cooler under the ground. You could just bury everything, and it would be nice and cool.
I really
just an
don't
idea.
know. I really don't know.
Just an idea. Well, here's the thing. Yesterday we're going to start a new unit today, but yesterday Raphael was doing a little presentation, but he said he couldn't be here. So what we might want to do is take a quick look at that before we begin for just 2 minutes, and then Raphael, if you want to watch this video, you can see some corrections. And Ahmed, if you wanted to add anything, you can do it as well. I think you were going to do something last night. I don't remember, but if you were, we could look at it.
Okay.
All right. So, and for Yosuke and Yukino, why do I never call you that? Why did I call you that? Because I saw Yusuke and there was 3 syllables, and I wanted to add syllables to Yuki's name. I don't know why. I never do that. Anyway, this is just to finish up the last unit. We'll spend maybe 3-4 minutes on this, and then we'll get started with something new. So let me just quickly share our notes document with you on screen, and you can see Raphael's presentation from yesterday, Raphael's presentation, online check-in. We had a business meeting. Well, not exactly a business meeting. We didn't get to the meeting. We had presentations about possible solutions to a problem that an airline was facing, because the unit was talking about processes. And everyone had to talk about a process that could be a solution to the problem. So let's take a look at Raphael's on screen, and then Ahmed, if you want to add something, you're more than welcome to. Just follow along, and I'll make a few corrections, and then we'll see if there's any comments. So Raphael, yesterday, with us as a group, decided to work on this online check-in solution. The problem is that there are long queues. There are long queues at the airline. So to be competitive, they have to reduce the waiting time to get tickets and to board the plane. So here was Raphael's solution. He said, "Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to present you with a new proposal to try to resolve a check-in problem that we've detected for some time. Our new scan system should present a novel solution." Then he gave some background. "We have detected delays in the check-in process of our passengers. That should be different. That should be hold on. That should be, we have detected delays in the check-in stage of the boarding process. Oh, Google's not letting me type on my own document again. I'll try to do this.
Weird.
It's some script problem, I don't know. But anyway, okay, it's working more or less. We have detected delays in the check-in stage of the boarding process with a half hour, with up to a half-hour average delay per flight. Beyond that, we need to improve our average check-in time simply due to the projections we're seeing for the coming year or years, where we expect a doubling of our current rate of passengers. Okay, we could clean that paragraph up a little bit if we need to, but it's a good start. Then he gives his proposal. Our proposal is to improve the check-in process with an innovative face recognition system. Here is how this system works. Okay, let's fix up the formatting here. Uh-oh. These are supposed to be bullet points. Let me just fix the formatting so it's a little bit easier to read. Come on, let's go. What's happening? There we go. Okay. I think he tried to manually.
Probably.
Yeah. Okay, but I got it. I think it's working. Okay. So, first of all, passengers put their credit card. I don't know why he wrote credit card. That's not right. There's no credit card. I don't know why he said that. Well, let me see if he changed it here. Put their credit card. No, he said credit card, but I don't know where he's getting credit card from. There's nothing in the file about credit card. Their
Probably.
credit card. Yeah. Do you know?
I don't know. Probably he thought that the card that has microchip.
It's a credit card.
Yeah, he thought it is credit card. I think.
Okay. Because it's not a credit card. But okay, let's leave it and we'll just work on the English. First of all, passengers put their credit card in the self-check-in machine, or now here, if we say passengers put, what do we need to do with enters? This is for anyone in group. What's the problem with enters? Grammatically, what's the problem with enters? Group, what do you think?
Enters without S.
Of course, exactly. Enter, because it's put. So we're giving instructions, and when we give instructions, we just use what we call the base form of the verb. If the verb is to put, the base form is put. If the verb is to speak, the base form is speak. So enter is okay, but it can't be with an S. It's not conjugated. First of all, passengers put their credit card. I'm going to change that just to card. Their card in the self check-in machine, or enter their, whoops, not spelled like that, their flight number on the touch screen. So passengers' booking details are retrieved. Okay, we don't want to say so because that's a conclusion. Anyone want to give me a better connector instead of so? Is everyone still there? Who's there? Yes, this is for Yusuke, Yuki, all of you. You can comment freely. Instead of saying so, what would be a better connector?
And, or, don't know.
Well, think about it. We got to talk about the sequence here. First, second, third, fourth, fifth. And we don't have to use those number words, but we do have to use sequence connectors. So what's the next thing you would say in a sequence? Yosuke, what do you think?
Sequence is like kind of like a but or so or and.
Exactly, yeah. Except instead of talking about addition, like and, or contrast, like but, we need to talk about the order of things.
The passenger booking detail are aunt?
You can say and if you
I
want to
think
add more information,
after
but
that,
I'd like a sequence word. I want to get rid of secondly and thirdly because he's using words which I think don't sound like a native speaker. Anyone else?
after that.
Then.
The or then?
Then.
I think after that.
Absolutely. After that and then are the two that we're going to use the most. Sure. So let's add those. Ahmed said then. Yuki said after that. Yeah, we're going to add them both. And let's see how it sounds now. Okay, first of all, passengers put their card in the self-check-in machine. Yeah, I added it. Look. I added it here. See? After that. I didn't forget you, Yuki. You're right there.
Thank you.
And here's what we'll do. We will put all the connectors in bold so they're easy to see. First of all, passengers put their card in the self-check-in machine, blah, 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 blah. Then passengers' booking details are retrieved or are able to be retrieved. That's fine. After that, passengers must, he put the past tense here, must answer security questions on the screen. Okay? And then, now just I'm using it again as a sequence connector. And then the boarding pass is printed out. Now, instead of saying also, we need a more sophisticated connector. What is an and connector that sounds better than also? Does anyone have a suggestion? A word that means and, but is a little bit more sophisticated than and. Because if I just say the boarding pass is printed out and luggage tags, it's okay, but I want to show that it happens after or in addition to. Oh, I'm giving you one right there.
In addition to.
Afterwards.
One. And Yusuke, what did you say?
Plus.
I can't hear you.
Plus.
Plus. Okay,
Plus.
that's fine. Afterwards. All of those are good. You can use all of those. Yusuke, I would say plus, but maybe it sounds a little too informal. And here we're describing a process, so I'm not going to use plus for that reason. But you could. It's okay. You could say, and then the boarding pass is printed out plus the luggage tags. It's perfectly okay. Yuki said
also.
as well. Yeah, I like that better. As well as the luggage tags. You could also say, Yuki, afterwards. That's fine. But I'm going to say as well as here because I wanted to put the emphasis on addition more than anything else. And then he says, if it was needed. Well, it's not it because it's tags. If, we just want to say if needed. Okay. He says beyond it, but we can't say beyond it because there's many stages. So beyond these steps, for example. But anyway, that's a good connector. Beyond these, the luggage, whoops, let's make that, whoops, again, I want to make that bold. Beyond these, the luggage could be, beyond these options, I don't know what he wants to say here. Beyond these options, luggage could in a bag drop area. That's fine. Okay? And then he ends finally, that's okay. Finally, the passport check is carried out at the departure gate. Conclusion. Well, we don't want to say conclusion. We want to say in conclusion. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. This is formal, so it's okay to sound a little formal because it is formal. In conclusion, with this implemented service, we can improve our time delay to 0 minutes. We can improve our time delay. We're not improving our time delay. We're improving our our wait time. It's not the delay that we're improving. We can improve our wait time, but I would say even instead of improve, I would say we can decrease, maybe. Can we do it for sure? We should. Or better yet, we anticipate. Anticipate a decrease in our wait time to as low as 0 minutes. Okay, I think it's good. We had to clean up there's some grammatical mistakes, and we had to change some of the word choice. But the main thing is this. The purpose of the proposal was to get you to use the passive voice, and here as well, using the right connectors. First of all, then, after that, and then, and after that. You can keep adding and sequence connectors. And then he added a few that are good. Beyond these options, finally, and we added as well as and in conclusion. Okay? So that's a pretty good model for how to do it on your own. And you're welcome to try that on your own, going to the last activity in the last unit. That's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to make sure that we all saw that. Ahmed, did you want to change anything from your proposal or do a different one? Because I think you said something yesterday about it.
Yeah, I have written the, what do you call it?
Can we look at it?
Yeah, this is mine. I have pasted on the document.
Oh, you did? Okay, hold on. Hold on a second.
Without body points.
Fine. Where is it?
Under the in conclusion, yeah. Underneath.
Whoops. Okay, let me get it on screen, and I'm going to say presentation. Whoops, presentation. Let's put it like this so everyone can see it. Just change that. Just there's a few typos. Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, why don't you read it for us quickly, and then we'll get some feedback from the group, and we'll see how it sounds. Go for it.
Yeah. First of all, passengers' information and face and eye recognition data number are registered. Once these information are registered, they are ready to be put on a card with a microchip that passengers can carry with them. Then, at the check-in, the card is read and the passenger's face is scanned to confirm that the passenger matches the data stored in the chip. After that, the boarding pass is printed out. The luggage tags can be printed as well if needed. Then, passengers' luggage is taken to the bag drop area to be checked in. Finally, the passenger's card is read and their face is scanned again at the security gate.
Okay, first a note about English. Okay?
Okay.
First a note about English. Look at the underlined word here. What's wrong with these?
You know, this?
Yeah.
Mm.
Why is that? Why is it this and not these? You're right, but why?
Well, information is uncountable.
It's singular.
Yeah, but we can't say informations.
That's right. It's
Yes,
always
yeah.
it's always singular.
No, I thought, okay.
You can okay, I see what you mean. Because you can't count it. I think about it as being singular, but fine, yes, you're right.
Yeah.
It's probably better to say that it's uncountable, so it's not singular or plural, it's just uncountable. Okay, that's fine. Yep. So, but the reason I say it's singular is because this information is registered. It is, which is singular. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Is.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
So, but you're right. Technically, it's because it's uncountable. Right. Passengers' information, face and eye recognition data. First of all, passengers' information. And okay, you're missing the articles in the first sentence. All the articles are missing. Articles are a, and the, Ahmed.
Okay, and
Can
the.
the what?
Well, because to me, I was thinking of that information of passenger, face of passenger, eye of passenger. That's why I did
Right.
like this.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
you've got the right idea. You don't want to say it that way.
Hmm.
So here's what we can do. Passenger's information is either the passenger's information, which sounds a little awkward, or even better, get rid of the apostrophe and just say passenger information. Just that.
Okay.
If you do it like this, we call this a compound noun, like
Ah,
the word fireman.
yeah. Correct.
A compound noun might not need an article. We don't need to say the fireman. We just say fireman because it's like a collective compound noun. So here, information, which can be collective as well, works without an article. First of all, passenger information and face and eye recognition data numbers, data numbers.
Data number, yeah. One word. Data number.
Is that one word, really?
Yeah, according to the slide.
Okay. Could be British English, I don't know. Maybe you're right. Because it shows up as a spelling mistake, and if I hyphenate it, it'll be fine. I don't know, it's weird. But okay, fine. Let's just see about the plural or singular part. First of all, passenger information and face and eye recognition, data number. Why would it not be data numbers?
I don't know. As I mentioned, according to the slide, it was one word without S. Data number without S.
It sounds strange to say it without, because numbers are countable. That's why it sounds strange to say number. Okay? So I can't see a reason not to make it plural here.
Okay.
I can't see any reason to do it. It sounds awkward without it. Let me read it again. First of all, passenger information and face and eye recognition data numbers, it's got to be, are registered. Once this information is registered, wait a second, you can't say registered twice, Ahmed. You can't say twice because you can't repeat in English. It's a rule.
Confirmed.
You need to find a parallel expression.
Can I say confirmed?
Once this is carried out, or once this is done.
Yes. Done.
Right?
All right. Yes.
This is a stylistic rule in English, but it's kind of important because people will really notice it. You can never say the same word twice. You need to try to find a parallel expression or construction or word whenever possible. Unless you're writing poetry.
Okay.
Then you can, if you want to write a poem about passenger check-in, then you could use registered twice. Once this information is carried out, what's they refer to? It.
Because
Okay.
Because I referred as plural before.
Right,
That's why I
right.
said they.
Okay. So once this oh no, wait, we got a mistake here. Not once this information is carried out. Once this is carried out, it is ready. Okay, we got to just change this a little bit. The information is ready to be put on a card with a microchip that passengers can carry with them. Very good. Because I understand the process better now than I did in Raphael's, because I didn't quite understand the card thing. Now I understand what you're trying to do. Now I understand what's going on. They make a personal card for you that you can carry around with you. It's not your own ID card you're bringing. It's a card they make for you to check in.
Yes.
Right? Got it. Okay. Then, at the check-in, the card is read and the passenger's face is scanned to confirm that the passenger matches the data stored in the chip. Okay, that's good. Period. After that, the boarding pass is printed out. The luggage tags can be printed as well, if needed. A little comma there, if needed. Then passenger luggage again.
Yeah.
You can make this compound form. Passenger luggage is taken to the bag drop area to be checked in. that's okay the way it is. The passenger's card is read, and their face is scanned again at the security gate. Okay. Why is their face scanned the second time?
The second time?
Yeah, at the security gate.
Yeah, it is. I don't know what you call that.
Is it secured once to create the card and then a second time to check your identity?
Yeah, the last one is security. Okay, but
okay.
The previous one was for chicken. Yes,
Right.
for chicken.
Okay. So when they check you in, they need to scan your face and put that information on the card, or there's no correlation.
Just too much.
Just to match. Okay.
Too much. Just too much.
All right. Well, it sounds good. It's clear. It's short. So I think it sounds really good. And the only thing that we need to pay attention to is this idea here that we can get rid of the article if we create a compound noun form like passenger information. I think it would be better if it's a collective noun like information, an uncountable collective noun. I can't give you a rule because I'm not saying it's going to work in every single situation, but keep that in mind for the future. Collective compound noun. Hang on just a second. Oh, I have a little connection problem. Hold on a second. Okay, I'm back again. Let me see if I can get my thing on screen. Just before we begin the next unit, let me just ask everyone listening to Ahmed's presentation, do you have any questions or comments or changes that you might suggest? Anything you want to add? Comments? Yosuke? Yuki? Nader? No? Yes? Maybe?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, like you are talking about like boarding pass to get proceed. Yeah, but sort of understand, but it's not too clear. Yeah, like have to like make one thing, as you say, passenger luggage is the better. Like it's not passenger's luggage, just passenger luggage. The better.
Right. Right. That's right. So it's an option. One way to not be repetitive, one way to take out articles like a, and the, specifically the, is to use this form, passenger luggage, passenger information. Only when luggage and information belongs to a group of people, then you can do it. So this is a more advanced form. But yes, it's an option that you can use, and it gives more variety, and it makes the text go faster. It makes it flow better as well.
So like when I use like the passenger's luggage or just passenger luggage, I can choose.
You can choose, yeah. The difference is if you say passenger's luggage, you're talking about specific people.
Oh.
If you're saying passenger luggage, you're talking in general about any passenger, any time, in the past, present, or future. So one is more general, and it's the general one is good when you're talking about a process, because we don't care about Bob and his luggage. We care about any passenger at the airport. Okay? So I'll make a little note down here. Now I'll just call this note, I guess. Note. This is called a, so you can, the apostrophe S and the, if you use a collective, whoops, I should say collective compound noun. And then here's an example. Firemen, or I should say firemen, is a collective compound noun. Fire and men, put them together, you've got firemen, people who put out fires. But here, instead of the passenger's luggage, right? Instead of saying that, you can say just passenger luggage.
Okay, just to make a short, is like easy to like say. Like if I use like this, the passenger luggage is like specific, like they are talking about A, or some people like that some people want to say, like, how do you say? So just like normally, like I want to say individually, this person, yeah, I have to use the passenger's luggage.
Correct.
Okay, ordinary, like just remove passenger luggage. So okay.
Right. That's right. If it's specific, I'll make a little note. If it's
So that's right.
specific, then use the. Okay. So the key idea is that it's in general, something in general. And also that it's good when you're doing this, talking about a process. It's a more formal sounding way of constructing the sentence, and it sounds good when you're talking about a process because it speeds up the text. It takes longer to say than the passenger's luggage, the information of the passenger. That slows down the text. So this will speed it up, which is what you want when you're describing a complicated process like we were talking about. So that's a good observation, Yosuke. That's true. Okay. Listen, you can practice this on your own by going to the last task of yesterday's class, and you can write out a process from the text, from the slides that we used, or you can describe a process at work, and we can look at it in class like we did today. But I'd like to move on, and in the beginning of each unit, what we do is we start by a kind of brainstorming activity. We start to look at vocabulary that will come up in that unit, and usually we do this through looking at a picture that's related to what we're going to be talking about. So we're going to start that today, right now. Whoops, I have to. No, that's not what I want. I don't want to show you my PDF. I want to show you my presentation. Hold on. I thought I had my presentation open, but I don't. 1 second. I'll get it open. This is going to be called How to Talk About Job Performance, a new unit. Give me a second. I have to open this on my screen. 1 second. And we're going to focus on the brainstorming part, where we look at a picture, describe it, and we begin to generate the kind of vocabulary that we'll need to talk about this topic. 1 second here. Let me just get to my material. 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. Okay, gotta go to my folder, getting results in business, how to talk about job performance. Here it is. Let's see if I can get this PDF open. By the way, as always, if you want to see this close up, just go to the link that I posted under course material on the Verbling page, and I can put it in the chat window as well if you need it. Okay, I got it open, so let's take a look. Here it is. How to talk about job performance. So in this unit, we're going to be talking about personal qualities, things that make an individual employee special, what makes people stand out in a good way and possibly in not such a good way. So the personal qualities that will affect your performance. We'll be talking about how to appraise performance and set objectives. We'll be looking at key expressions to give feedback when you appraise someone. When you have to assess someone's performance, you need to break the news gently. You have to be very diplomatic. So giving feedback is a skill. Telling a story, well, not telling any story, but relating about your performance, relating something you've done in the past about your job performance will inevitably be part of telling an anecdote, a story, or something that happened in the past. So we're going to look at narrative tenses specifically. And you'll see that at the bottom. Using the past continuous and past perfect to talk about past events, that's the grammatical part of telling a story. And in this unit, today, we're going to be working specifically on personal qualities. Well, let's go back here to the picture for a second. as you know from previous units, we have a technique. And the technique is, when you start a unit, describe the picture in an easy way. And the technique that I gave you was, which I can show you again, it's on page, I don't know what page. I don't have my page numbers. I'll tell you in a second.
You have the page number down, probably.
Not on my screen.
I see something. 1 of 11.
No, yes, but I don't. I'm talking about the notes. 1 second. I'll tell you in a second. Okay, on page 10 and on page 8 and 9 of our notes, we have a process for describing a photo, which is a good way to brainstorm words, and it's also a good way to pass a test. Like any of these international tests by Cambridge or the TOEFL or one of those things, you generally have to get ideas from looking at photographs. So on page 8 of our notes, you'll see how to describe a photo or picture. And I gave you 4 possible steps. And in fact, I'll put them on screen just for a moment, and then we'll try it out together. Give me a second here. So you can see there, let me put this on one page. Whoops. There we go. How to describe a photo or picture. Procedure for describing things. First, say what you see. Second, speculate, or means guess, I should say. Guess about why. Why are you seeing this? Why are you being shown this? What does it have to do with the theme? Third, compare and contrast it to something you're familiar with. And fourth, offer a personal preference if it's possible. And in the last time we did this, I began to write down some key expressions you could use at each of these stages. Okay, so today we'll add more expressions. If I were going to do this, here's what I would say. Well, number 1, say what you see. There appears to be a dancer in the picture. Step 2, guess or speculate. I suppose, look, I've got that keyword there, be. I suppose when you're a professional dancer, most of your time is spent working on your technique. You're constantly assessed for your posture, for your timing, and it's a very labor-intensive process. And I suppose that is analogous. Ooh, what a good word, analogous. That is the analog. That is analogous to any kind of a job performance in any kind of a job to some degree. So it's kind of a good representation of what anyone would have to go through. You can conceptualize it like that. So it's analogous to what everyone has to do. In both cases, you have to learn to monitor yourself and to work independently. But you also have to learn to work with other people, because other people are going to be there to give you a more objective picture about how you're performing. I'd prefer to self-assess before I have to be assessed by someone else, because I find it very nerve-wracking and stressful to be observed all the time. Although I am, because we're recording on YouTube, but I find it better to self-assess and then, if possible, compare it to what someone else says. So what I've done right there, everyone, is just I followed the 4 steps. There appears to be, I suppose. Both of these have something in common, which I explained. They both, I said both of these, in both cases you have to be assessed, and you've got to also develop independent self-assessment skills. And then the 4th, I gave a preference. So it sounds good, but in fact I'm following a kind of a technique, and that will help you think if you're under stress. Plus, here, we're looking at new key expressions and new vocabulary. So let's do this. You can keep that open in the notes if you like, but what I'm going to do is put our picture back on screen and give you a chance to describe the picture. And I'd like everyone to try to pick out a different detail if they can, or relate to this in a different way, but a personal way. especially by talking about your experience. Okay, and the last thing I'm going to do is create a new class for today and start to create a vocabulary list for that class. And you'll see that it'll be in the notes document on, I think it's page 4. I don't know. Whoops. If Google lets me copy and paste, I will do that. Hold on. Yeah, there we go. So I'm creating a new unit in our notes called Unit 15, Job Per. And the first vocabulary word was analogous. Analogous. Which is spelled wrong, of course, because I can't spell anything. Hold on. One of these days, I'll learn how to spell. Okay. Did I spell it wrong or right? No, I did spell it right. I thought it looked wrong, but it's right. Good. Okay, so let's do it. Let's do it. Whoever's feeling brave, I'd like you to follow the same steps if you can and give us another detail or relate to the picture in another way or compare and contrast it in another way. But try to follow those steps and try to use those key expressions if you can. So, who's feeling brave? No one. Yes! That's why you are the super student. Yes. Okay, go for it, Yuki. Go for it.
There appeared to be a dancer stepping a measure in the studio, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
They most likely they are most likely that she is training for the contest.
Competition.
For the competition, which she planned to join.
One thing. Instead of saying there, replace that with she. She is most likely.
She is most likely. She's most likely to.
Not to. She is most likely training.
She's most likely is training for the competition.
Right. Good.
In the near future. And there may be. I suppose that she's a future professional dancer.
Mm-hmm. Now here in the speculation stage, you need to try to link it to the topic of the unit, which is about job performance in general. So she may be a dancer in training. She may be, yeah. How might that relate to job performance that you and I do? What's the generalization we could talk about? What do you think?
Generalization.
Yeah, how does it relate to what everyone does? All up-and-coming job people, whether they're teachers or truck drivers or nuclear physicists. What's the generality that we might be able to link to? In other words, what are we going to learn about job performance? What can we learn by talking about the dancer? What do you think?
Excellent dancer.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. She's seeking excellence. She's trying to perfect her performance. Yeah.
Yes, she tried to perform excellently, and I suppose that she's dreaming to become a professional dancer. I do imagine that I imagine that her dream will become realized. Her dream will realized in the future.
Okay, good.
I'd prefer I'd prefer imagining her brilliant future to 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 I'd prefer imagining her brilliant future to thinking really to thinking about the real the
Reality?
reality.
Okay, Yuki, how does this remind you of yourself when you were entering the job market? Were you a young, inspired ballerina as well?
Yes.
When you say you'd rather think about her bright future instead of reality, why is that? What's wrong with reality, Yuki?
I
What
think
happens in reality?
I think in many cases reality is quite dull,
Yeah,
and it's full of
disappointment.
disappointment, and we have to um, we have to get along with the reality, but it's often quite dull and not interesting.
Pretty much. Okay, so good. So everyone, what did Yuki do there? In step 4, rather than step 2, he was able to connect it to his personal experience. I tried to do it in step 2. I tried to find out what the connection was between the dancer, the picture of the dancer, and the theme of job performance and assessment. But Yuki did it in step 4, so it works. But it sounds like a good answer. Let's recap. He said, well, there appears to be a dancer. She is most likely training for a competition. I suppose she's very, he says something like, I suppose she's very, inspired and excited to be entering her professional career. Um, I'd prefer to think about her bright future than reality, because as we know, in reality, we're often let down when we have to face a real experience. But in the beginning, you're full of inspiration. Now, how does that connect to our bigger theme of job performance? Well, one suggestion I have is that you might speculate and say, back to step 2, I'd imagine getting people inspired when they're just starting out is the key to help shape their job performance over their career. Because when they're young, they're full of ideas and energy, and they're not yet disappointed by life. They may very well get the skills they need to avoid those kind of disappointments. Okay, so that would be a great way to tie together all the things that you said, Yuki, connecting it back to the theme. So that's a skill we can work on, because when you look at these pictures, especially in a test situation, they're looking for you to make a final point. So that might be a good way to tie things together. Yosuke, we've got don't have a lot of time, but let's do one more. And Nader, I don't know if we'll have time for you today, but tomorrow we can do this again as a short exercise in the beginning of class. So we'll get a chance to work with you and Ahmed as well. Yusuke, can you do a quick one, kind of in the way that Yuki did, and you can use those key expressions on page 8 and 9 to help you.
So like I
Want to try?
describe this picture. Which picture? I'm gonna describe this picture, or I don't know.
Well,
picture.
we're going to focus on this. We're going. But you're going to pick out something different to say, either a different detail, or or a different experience that you can compare it to. And don't forget, all of our key expressions are in the notes document, so you can use any of those. If you don't feel ready, we can do it tomorrow. If you're not comfortable doing it now, but don't forget, all of our key expressions are here, where it says how to describe a photo. If you can't find that on the notes document, by the way, you just go to the units completed so far, and underneath that you'll see the table of contents, and it says how to describe a picture here. You click on that, and it takes you down to page whatever page that is. I think it's page 8 or 9. Page 9. It'll take you down to page 9. So, Yusuke, you want to try it now, or would you prefer to try it tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, like, I need like a key check, like, I guess, or compare to contrast, or
Well,
yeah, I'd rather prefer.
You can follow exactly these steps. Number 1,
Yeah.
say what you see. Number 2, guess and speculate about why. You can follow these exact steps. Later, we can try different steps and see how it sounds. But for now, we've got a good structure. And all of the key expressions you need are here, and we can add more if they come up. So, because we're going to run out of time, I have another class. So my question is,
All right.
do you want to try it real quick now, or would you prefer to think about it and try it tomorrow? What do you prefer?
I prefer right now.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. I'm going to put the picture back on screen.
Yeah.
And you follow the steps in our shared notes document on page 9. Okay?
Yeah. So like.
Go for it.
How can I say? Like maybe he. I'm not sure. Like practicing by himself, and I mean, I don't remember like which step should I step on.
Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't you do this? Do this. Open the notes document, and let's open the notes document. Think about it today, okay? And we'll pick it up there tomorrow.
All right.
And the notes document is the one that I think Ahmed posted in the chat window. Am I right, Ahmed?
Yes, I can post it again.
So, Yusuke, you can follow Ahmed's link. And by the way, if you ever need class material, it's always pasted on the Verbling page of the class. So the page where you click join, if you go under the video, our class material is always under the video. So if you ever need anything, it's always on Verbling, okay? So Yusuke, let's do this. You, Nader, and Ahmed, you can think about this, and in the beginning of the next class, you can try it out. If you like. You don't have to, but if you like, try it out. Use Yuki's description as a kind of a model. Use my description as a kind of a model. Watch that part of the class again on YouTube if you like, just to hear how it sounds. And then add your own details or connect it to your own experience. And what we're going to do then tomorrow is we'll start with that, and then we're going to move on to a few discussion questions, and then we'll begin a reading which will give us the vocabulary that we need. We'll read about a situation. Okay, so that's what we'll start tomorrow. And if there's any questions or comments, just send me a message through Verbling, and I'll help you out or give you some suggestions. Okay?
Yeah, gotcha.
Okay. So I'm going to leave you for now. I'll be back at the same hour tomorrow. No, tomorrow I'm here an hour early. I'm sorry. Tomorrow I'm here an hour early, so there'll be a 2-hour class tomorrow. The first class was going to be a hot topics discussion class, and the second class is going to be this class, how to talk about job performance. Okay? Are we cool?
We're cool, man.
We're cool, man.
Yeah, I'm not
cool.
I'm not sure about but yeah, I'm gonna be on time to catch up here.
You will be. You'll be here tomorrow.
Yes.
You will be. I know. I know you. You will be. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Bye for now, everyone. See you tomorrow at 10 a.m. London time, 11 Central European time. Bye for now.
All right. See you a little bit.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.